I've noticed that we've started eating a lot of vegetarian food recently. Any reason for this?
Yeah, I suppose we're just trying to be a bit more healthy. The easiest way of doing that is to cut out meat and eat more fruit and veg and dal and sabzi and things like that.
You're going all this climate changey on me.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, it's a good thing.
Greta
I know.
Thunberg, channeling my inner Greta Thunberg.
It's a good thing to eat less meat. I know that. Doesn't Paul McCartney do meat-free Mondays?
Yeah, he
Once
does.
a week you should eat less.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm such a meat eater. It's very hard for me to suddenly stop. Actually, I'll tell you a tip. Whenever I go to a shadi or some party, I always make sure I try to sit with the vegetarian people.
And why is that?
Because then, when the chicken tikka and the tangri kebab and the stir-fried chili chicken comes, I know that they don't want it.
Yeah.
Actually, I've got a mean streak in me as well. Because I love paneer also. Tandoori paneer?
Yes.
वो भी अपने plate में उठा लेता हूँ. But then I think, ठीक है, all the aloo pakoras, the onion pakoras, they can eat as much as they want.
Welcome to the Shabby and Man podcast. We're partners, parents, podcasters, broadcasters.
And everything else in between.
And what have we got on our platter today? We're going to talk about food, essentially.
Yeah, we've talked about vegetarian. Let's talk about how our food tastes are, how it's changing, what kind of things you're cooking.
Yes. I like to cook seasonal stuff, which is what every chef will tell you. Cook what is in season, cook what is fresh. But you are right.
Wait, I'm just thinking, you mean we'll have asparagus?
Yes, we have asparagus and we'll have beetroot and parsnips certain times of...
You've been hanging out in Waitrose a bit too much, I think.
No, it's not that. It's just that, it makes perfect sense. But you're right in that we're eating more veg now, and I'm making a conscious effort to steer the kids especially away from meatballs and roast chicken and chicken stir fry, and much as we love all of that, lamb hot pot, all of that, just to balance it out and tip the scales in the favor of dal sabzi, because you know what it is, I think it's something the West has discovered only now. For them, equating healthy food is essentially what Indians have been eating for centuries, right? Dal sabzi.
There are some healthy things I can't even pronounce. What is it? Quinoa.
Quinoa and kale and all of that. Of course, health benefits.
Kale
are
तो is spinach only, isn't it?
It's a slightly more potent form of spinach.
मैं तो अपने smoothie में kale डालता हूँ.
Kale, not to be confused with kela, by the way. Do you reckon we can be 100% vegetarian? Vegan, we can't be. We've decided already. We don't want to be. Let's put it that way. We don't want
केला शहर में. You know the song?
Do you think we can be 100% committed vegetarians?
You could be.
Without
Maybe.
losing our cool.
No, actually, you couldn't be either. You have no willpower either.
No, please, I have more willpower.
Every time you walk past a shop, you say, oh, ding.
Ding, what? I want to cook lamb today. I have a weakness for lamb curry. But this drive towards vegetarianism, have you noticed how it has made what used to be something exotic earlier, and exotic ingredients have come to our supermarkets. So when you look at things like sumac and za'atar and panchphoron and shorshe bata, all of these things used to be such specialist ingredients, not only from Bengali cuisine.
Are you talking about in this country, in England, or are you talking about India?
No, I'm talking about in this country. They've become commonplace.
It's Mediterranean
And just as
condiments.
panchphoron, you would have to go to an Asian shop to get now. Sainsbury's does panchphoron. So they just call it an Asian spice mix.
What is it called? 5 spices?
5 spices. So I think this drive towards vegetarianism is a good thing, because it's also educating our palate, making us more adventurous, because there are only so many things you can do with meat. Let's face it.
You are a kalank on Calcuttians, on Bongs, on Bengalis.
Why is that? Oh,
Can you think of a single Bengali person who doesn't like fish?
Fish. I have something against water and
Ilish.
against fish.
Machi.
Machi is a fly, by the way.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Machi went in my soup.
Yes.
Waiter,
there's a machi in my soup.
Okay, I remember that.
Machi is not my favorite. It's not my go-to. It's not my comfort food.
Malai chingri.
Malai chingri. Yes.
That's one I like.
Yeah, I am. I'm not too fond of
fish.
It's like me saying, "Oh, you're a Punjabi, but I don't hear you say, can we please have rajma chawal today? Yeah, chole bhature, my favorite."
Why don't I say pass me the black label? Now, one thing that we do have in common is we love watching food programs on telly.
We do.
It's not that this is one of my dad's gripes. He says that you watch so many food programs, but I never see you make anything.
I do. Maybe you don't.
But it's not the same thing. If I'm watching Rick Stein in France, it doesn't mean I suddenly want to have...
scallops.
Very good. I was thinking... Escargot. I was thinking of frog's legs and snails, but
Yes.
escargots.
But
This reminds
how
me.
sad we are.
Yeah.
Not only do we watch food programs on telly, we actually watch them on catch up on days when we miss it.
But this reminds me of something. When we, this is going to surprise you now, but I still remember this. When we first met, you bigged up yourself. When I was going out with you, and said that I make this very exotic
Dessert.
Is it dessert? I don't know what it was even. You know what I'm talking about?
I think I know
You
what
said
you're
to me
talking
once
about.
that I make Paris
Because you
breast.
have held it against me to this day that I've never made it.
Did you not say I make Paris breast? Now, I didn't know what it was. This is pre-Google. And I thought, I've lived in Pigalle. I've been to Paris. I've been to the Moulin Rouge. Paris breast, no problem.
Very funny. But this is actually a dessert, and it's a very thin crust pastry, and it's filled with some very boozy cream. My dad's a teetotaler, right? My dad doesn't drink. So all these bottles of Chivas Regal and all these lovely bottles of imported whiskey that my dad used to be given by his official colleagues and friends and counterparts from other countries. Naturally, I would have to devise ways of using it up in cooking. And I remember Paris Brest was one of the first things that said, add a shot of Chivas Regal or whatever your favorite tipple might be.
You used to put whiskey in your
I used
dessert.
to put really expensive Chivas Regal in Paris Brest recipe.
I wish I knew then. I would have taught you about the black market.
Yes, what is that?
Selling illegal booze.
Please. So, maybe I've never made it for you, but...
Sorry, you made it for
that's
who? I kind of missed that.
my family, maybe somebody else before you came along. But anyway, that is for you to guess and for me to know. Moving on from Paris Brest,
There was another thing that you used to make,
which is...
which you never made again also. My mind is now with you. It was something like the Duke of Wellington beef or something.
beef stroganoff?
Yeah. You don't even need beef. What did you make it then with?
No, lamb stroganoff.
Lamb stroganoff.
I'm going back to the 90s. We're going back to Delhi of the 90s. This is when liberalization had just happened. So all these foreign things had started trickling in. As in,
You like what? Pastry?
Not pastry.
Puff pastry?
Listen, this stroganoff reminds me. You had to put Worcester sauce. I remember. Is it Lee and Perrin?
Lee and Parent is like some scratch DJs, I
Yeah.
think.
So it had just come. So earlier, you would have to go to these specialist shops in Khan Market where one tiny bottle would set you back by 500 rupees, which was a lot. But 90s, when I started cooking and just out of uni.
Can I just pick you up on that? You only started cooking when you were in uni.
Yes, of course.
Weren't you like most 8, 9-year-olds who learned how to make round chapatis?
My mother's a good cook and we've always had a cook as well. So, not a problem. See, that's the advantage of staying in India, growing up in India.
What?
आजकल तो मैं खाना बनाती हूँ यहाँ पे मेरे friends तो इंडिया में कोई नहीं बनाता. Everybody's got a cook, at least one, if not two. Why? Haven't you seen their Facebook posts? Oh, Sheila hasn't come today, so we're going out for dinner.
You mean like Sheila ki biryani?
Yeah, Sheila ki biryani. You and I have another weakness when it comes to food.
No, you're
Experimenting with
actually
it, watching it on
credit
television.
to you. You're quite laid back that way. That you have a bit of willpower.
Yes.
You won't eat something if you don't want to eat it.
I like to try things out, when I like to give my own twist to virtually any dish that I make. But
Putting a bit of namak on everything, not namak, pepper on everything is not a twist.
No, I know that's not.
But that's
my
one
twist,
thing
okay?
that I noticed, that you love pepper a bit too much. Everything you sometimes have toast with pepper on it, don't you?
Of course. We also have a weakness for food books. The
We do.
number of food books that you and I have, we've lost count, and we continue to collect these, and we don't have any space to put them. But we're both fond of food books, and I think immediately when a new book comes out, we can tell from the look and the feel whether we're going to like it or not. Forget the recipes in it. It's the way it's put together. And not every book that is flash and very stylishly shot is gonna tick the box. Sometimes it's these
Anything,
the font that appeals to you.
the font appeals to you. Anything makes me salivate.
We bought a book which looks like $1 million. It's called Tasting India.
Oh yeah.
It's got a yellow cover.
It's as they say in the business, it's a coffee table book.
Coffee table books, and it is virtually the size of half a coffee table. But I don't think all it's done in the last 5 years, 6 years since we bought it is gathered dust.
No,
I
that
don't
one
think
has
we've
got-
ever picked it up and looked at it.
That is because it has pretty pictures.
Yeah.
It's,
And it has a very pretty cover. It has a
It does, it
stunningly
does.
beautiful cover, which looks like a Banarasi sari or something.
does,
like that.
it does.
Beautiful, beautiful design. I'm still nursing an ambition of doing a food book someday.
It's your fault if you don't take up all the offers you got. Because I hear you on the radio here and there doing all sorts of food stuff and going for
In fact,
walks.
I'm going to start a food show on radio as well very soon. Not food, but talking to chefs. and I do love it, but I want to put it together in a certain way. I don't just want it to be dry recipes. I wanted to put in a few stories as well, but then everybody's doing that now. So it's going to be a bit of a challenge, but it has to be something different. It can't just be a regular
food book.
dal chawal,
The things we
samosa,
love.
how to make a samosa, how to make
Nobody does that.
omelette in toast. Everybody does it.
No, that is standard.
Kali dal,
You can't
dal
have
fry,
a food book.
chicken tikka
you
masala.
can't. No, you can't have a food book from the sub-Asian continent and not have.
Asian subcontinent.
What did I say?
The sub-Asian.
You know what I meant.
Yes, I think. Are you dreaming of Subway?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But you can't have a book without having masala chai and
Gajar ka halwa.
a bread omelette.
What is a bread omelette?
Omelette bread ke andar.
Forget about going to restaurants, forget about fine dining, forget about times when you're making an effort to go out and eat. What is your favorite travel food? There are so many curries in India that were discovered at the railway station canteen or that are known to be good at certain
Oh, you're talking about like
places.
memories, something that hits you.
Yeah.
Well, for me, it's pretty easy. Like, I remember not just my grandmother and my relatives when I used to jump on a train. There used to be like puris with the thandi aloo ki sabzi
And achar.
and achar.
Smidgen of
And
achar.
that goes back even further to my boarding school days when we all had to eat whatever hot food. But there were some day scholars who used to come for the daytime and we used to eat their food. And, it used to be right, I don't know, it was like wrapped in a hanky.
Yeah. So travel food to you would be aloo puri.
Aloo
Is
puri
what would
probably.
make you
Yeah.
most nostalgic.
Yeah.
For me,
What
it
for you?
would probably be the food that was served on Rajdhani Express from Delhi to Calcutta.
Well, you mean a pot of yogurt and a kela?
Their dinner was really good.
One
Back in the
thing
day when Indian Railways...
I still don't know one thing. You have to sort it out for me. Do they give you the kela on the train to make you go to the toilet or to stop you to go from the
I
toilet?
don't know. Okay, please. I don't talk about that. So the food that was served on Rajdhani Express, they'd come and take your order and ask you whether you want the vegetarian option or the non-vegetarian. So sometimes it would be Western, which was essentially roast chicken with a few boiled vegetables on the side.
Roast chicken?
Their curries and all. Railway food used to be really good. Whether you had
We
it in
once
the
did a
railway
podcast on
canteen. Yeah.
railway food because I used to have an omelette in my local station. Not when I'm traveling, but when I used to pass by, sometimes I used to sit there and have an omelette. And a cutlet. And a garam chai and a cooler.
What would be your favorite travel food here? Is it a Cornish pasty? What would you eat on the train? It wouldn't be the same thing here because you have the same chains and the same shops in every station. So it's not something that is specific to a place.
A molten, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called even. You know that pork pie?
Mowbray.
Mowbray pork
A
pie.
Melton Mowbray pie. Ask me. I'm the foodie. A Melton Mowbray pie.
It's strange, isn't it?
Yes.
होटल मैनेजमेंट मैंने किया है फाइनेस्ट होटल्स में मैंने काम किया है रेस्टोरेंट्स में मैंने काम किया है and foodie is you.
Yeah, that's true.
What is your favorite food?
My favorite food has to be...
Don't say Indian. Indian is given. It's something else.
Italian. Or even Chinese. I love Chinese.
You like Chinese food,
Yeah.
I know.
I've had Indian Chinese food, which is fantastic. I've had Chinese food in America. I've had Chinese food here.
Indo-Chinese food is very different
Indo-Chinese,
than
I
food
love
here. Don't you? I used to have dumplings in Nepal a lot. I used to have proper momos. I used to have proper momos with the tea used to have yak
Yak
doodh and
milk.
yak milk and
Yak
butter.
milk. I was so shocked. The first time I had proper Chinese food outside of India was in...
I love Mediterranean, not Mediterranean, that's the wrong word, I suppose. Moroccan, Turkish, Ottoman Empire kind of food. I love the kebabs. And I'm quite happy to travel around there and taste stuff.
Yeah, but you like your hearty Punjabi stuff as well, don't you?
I do. You mean butter chicken?
Butter chicken.
I do.
Lamb korma.
I love all
naan,
that.
Afghani chicken.
Yeah, I do. It's true.
Right, enough chat about food. I think it's time to go and make some now.
Well, that's it for another episode. Thanks so much for tuning in, subscribing, rating, reviewing, all the things you do. Keep doing it. Downloading. Listen. Most important, listening.
And I hope that you've been listening to this episode with something tasty to nibble on the side or drink. Bye!